He's able to double up the Flyers 4-2. Alex DeBrincat scores 2 on the night, his 38th and 39th of the season. And he now has a career high 80 points. We look at points oftentimes in the National Hockey League. I don't expect him to be Nikita Kucherov. That's not who he is. But we want to judge on whether a player is that important to a team. The Red Wings lack scoring. You and I both know that, especially 5-on-5 scoring, okay? And DeBrincat had a power play goal. But we also use 40 goals as a bit of a barometer. And DeBrincat's knocking on that proverbial door. Last night, Kaprizov and Boldy both scored their 40th goals of the season in the same period, in the same game. First teammates to ever do that in NHL history. That's a big deal because they became the 8th and 9th players to score 40 goals this year. Alex DeBrincat's going to have 40 goals. That's not that many guys to have pumped in that many goals. Nathan McKinnon, Cole Caulfield for Montreal, Connor McDavid, Kucherov, as I mentioned, Wyatt Johnston for Dallas, Macklin Celebrini, the outstanding 19-year-old out in San Jose, Jason Robertson, whose roots come back to Detroit, and Kaprizov and Boldy, like I mentioned, the latter being a gold medalist for Team USA. So that was special, all right? You watched DeBrincat kind of help carry this team a little bit. And then Patrick Kane had a goal and a couple of assists, 3 points on the night. He becomes the all-time American-born player in career points, passing Brett Hull. So he's passed Brett Hull, former Red Wing. He's passed Mike Modano, former Red Wing, this year. And Kane's done it in a Red Wings uniform. So cool. So the bottom line is Detroit gets 2 points. That's most important. Second most important is a regulation win. RW, if you're looking in the columns. This is the hard thing about one of the many hard things about hockey. You're trying to figure out the differences. Why is one team ahead of another team when they both have the same number of points? It's a fair question. When you look at it and you look at the wild card standings, Ottawa, who won 4-1 over Buffalo last night, impressive win there against one of the better teams in all of hockey. They have 100 points, tied with Tampa, although they would be the number 2 seed in the East overall. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Detroit has 40 wins. Ottawa has 39, yet Ottawa has the tiebreaker. What? Because they both have the same number of points. What's the tiebreaker? Regulation wins. 33 for Ottawa. Last night was Detroit's 29th regulation win. So they're rewarding you for winning in 60 minutes rather than overtime or shootout wins. So that's where we stand. Columbus lost last night. Philadelphia lost last night, obviously. All right. So Philadelphia is 2 points back, but Columbus, Detroit, and Ottawa all with 88 points. 2 were winners. 1 was a loser. As long as it's Detroit on the winning end, that's all that truly matters. Pistons, they claimed their 56th win of the season. They beat Minnesota 113-108. Detroit led by Dennis Jenkins, 26. He also had 8 assists and only 1 turnover. You know how I feel about the turnovers. You know how I feel about certain box score statistics. Well, when you look at the box score, one of the first things you should be looking at is team assists to field goals made, and look at how many turnovers they had and how many points off those turnovers. I know people love the 3-point shot. I know people love the dunks. I know they love the number of points, but oftentimes I immediately go to turnovers to field goals made and how many, or I should say assists to field goals made and how many turnovers overall. Detroit's been doing a really good job of treasuring the basketball. And Dennis Jenkins, 8 assists, but only 1 cough up. He was really good. He's been amazing. He has been surprising. Jalen Duren added 22 points and 12 rebounds. May not be enough for some. Dude is flat out getting it done. All right. Continues to impress. He's going to make a lot of money. I had somebody say to me yesterday afternoon, I can't believe they didn't extend him before this year. And I said, well, why would they have extended him before this year? Because you should have seen this coming. I said, who would have seen this type of year coming? They said, Shep, he's young. I said, yeah, he's 22. I'm not sure I follow. I don't understand why you would think he would explode for 19 and a half points and 11 rebounds a game. He's been a double-double guy his entire career. He's never been the scorer. I said, you know what they might have been waiting for? To see how his offensive game expands. And they said, well, you've got to be able to notice that. You've got to be able to see that. I said, what gave you an indication last year that his offensive game would expand the way it has this year? Maybe in the offseason, you could have possibly foreseen something like this. But I don't think many people saw this. They saw him as a alley-oop and a dunker and an offensive rebound putback guy. He's not that any longer. Doesn't mean his game is complete. I'm not calling him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm calling him a guy who's young, an all-star, considered one of the best at his position in the entire NBA, and a guy whose offensive game is expanding. It's not completed, but it is getting better. And if you can't see that, you're not watching closely enough. He's been able to deck it and drive it. He's been able to create his own shot. He's been able to pull out of double teams with a dribble and reassess and take it back inside. So I think he's done a really good job, and the Pistons have fed off that. Pistons have now won 8 of 11. Their magic number for the number 1 seed in the East is down to 1. That means any combination of a Detroit win or a Boston loss, and they clinch the number 1 overall seed. Meanwhile, Cade Cunningham is out for at least another week. He's still dealing with the effects of a collapsed left lung, all right? I don't know how long. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how long this is going to take. I did talk to a doctor yesterday. They said he would be surprised if Cade Cunningham, who's out for at least another week, as I mentioned, would come back in the first round of the playoffs. So that's interesting. But he hasn't, it's not like he's sitting there looking at the x-rays. He's just talking about the injury alone. Could Detroit win a first-round playoff series without him? You're damn right they could. The way they're playing, the togetherness they have, without question, they could do that. Our phone number on the Meijer hotline is 866-838-4843. The text line is Sports Radio 21,000. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth in the first hour on this Friday morning. More updates because of a big honor for one of the Pistons. We'll take your phone calls, your texts, and, of course, we want your comments in the chat as we stream live on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now, they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders. when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also, Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m., presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
Yeah, after they call it a good goal, I think, a couple guys were like, let's kill their momentum, get in their zone quick. And Kaner made a great play, forecheck in, gave it to Copper. Guy lifted his stick a little bit, so missed the net. And I saw the goalie was pretty far out, so I just tried to spin it, spin it around and get it to the net. And luckily it hit something and went upstairs. So, sometimes you get bounces like that in a game, and it's a big win for us.
A good soundbite from Patrick Kane, who had, or Alex DeBrincat rather, who had a couple of goals last night. Now 39 on the season, so on the edge of 40. It's a pretty impressive win for the Wings. That we use certain phrases way too frequently. Must wins. Okay. Last night, I think, was a must-win. Like, people got caught up in certain games. Look, are you pissed off they lost to the Penguins? Sure. Are you pissed off they lost to the Flyers before that? Absolutely. Or the Sens. Me too. Missed opportunities, what I called them. Must-wins are, if you don't win, you're done. The path forward is too much. Last night, I think, falls into that category for a couple of different reasons. Because keep this in mind, they do have Philadelphia again. But sometimes when you get into a rut and it continues, everyone thinks momentum is always the positive side. Momentum can go the other way on you too. And it's been a rough one. It's been rough starts for the Red Wings. There's a lot of people questioning their heart, their desire, their gas level, their toughness. Players take that really personal. Because toughness is not just physical, but it's the mental side of things. Think about it. We've said it too. People have wondered if this team wants to play for their coach. People have wondered if this team has what it takes to overcome what happened in March, because they didn't write their own story like their coach said. People have wondered aloud, should a guy like Bernard Docker, wear number 25 after having a poor performance in what should have been a good fight? So when you have all that and people are questioning your desire to play the sport and reach the postseason, I think a lot of players hear that. And I think they see that and they feel that. But let's face it, you lose to Philly, suddenly you're 86 points. You're at 86, and you have to leapfrog multiple teams. It's one thing trying to catch one team, but then you're trying to catch Philly, you're trying to catch Columbus, and you're trying to catch Ottawa. And I know it's just a couple of points, and you may not think it's a big deal, but when you don't have the regulation wins on top of it, you don't have to catch them. You have to pass them. So it's really a 4-point swing as much as anything else. Here's who they have left. They have the Rangers, should win that on paper. Hell, if you looked on paper, Buffalo should have won last night. Instead, they lost 4-1 to Ottawa. Anyway, they got the Rangers. They got Minnesota, good team. Columbus will be a huge game. Last time you play the Blue Jackets, and they are right there with you. Philadelphia, another big game. New Jersey, we got a couple of goals from Luke Hughes last night and had a big win. Tampa, who won a game last night. Kucherov with an incredible shot, just turned off the half wall and fired and went bar down without even looking. Just simply incredible. And then Florida. That's what you have left. Rangers, Wild, Blue Jackets, Flyers, Devils, Lightning, Florida. 7 games left. And obviously 2 in there that are vital in the head-to-head matchup. Okay? So that's what you're looking at. I said just before the break, a Piston gets honored, and it's Asar Thompson. It's Trent's favorite player. I remember a year ago when we were talking about trying to make moves, would you surrender fill in the blank? And Trent said, Obviously, you hold on to Cade Cunningham. You hold on to Jalen Duren. He loves himself some Isaiah Stewart. Detroit's been able to win without him. I don't know how that's been possible. It's incredible to me. Everybody, I was told, maybe I'm wrong here, I was told they would have a hard time without Isaiah Stewart. And my response was, without Cade Cunningham, yeah. Without Isaiah Stewart, I think they can get it done. Paul Reed's been really good. Anyway, he said, hold on to Asar Thompson. And I get it. Asar Thompson has been incredible defensively. Last night against Minnesota, only 7 points, but he had 9 rebounds. He had 9 assists. He had 2 steals, and he had 3 blocks. Scoring is not everything. Now, it's part of it. And I can say that because Dennis Jenkins had 26. Jalen Duren had 22. Duncan Robinson hit some big shots and had double digits. I can say the 9 points are enough because of all the other things that he did, but also because other people elevated their offensive game too. But Thompson has been named the Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Month for the month of March. It is the second time he's won the award. He averaged 2.5 steals. He averaged over a block a game. In 6 games in the month of March, he had 3 or more steals. He's the only qualifying player in the NBA in steal percentage and block percentage of over 3.3%. That's really impressive. These are the little things moving forward that sometimes we don't always notice. Like we notice, oh my God, how many triples did he make? How many double-digit games is this guy getting? How many double-doubles are you posting? The little things that Asar Thompson, and I shouldn't even call them little because they're big, but the things that we overlook in the box score, how's that? Have been vital to this team's success. 56 wins, right? I think it's the 5th most in franchise history. The 56 wins for the Pistons this year. I think it's the 5th most the team has ever had, the franchise has ever had. Michigan's TJ Hughes is a finalist for the Hobie Baker Award. The U of M captain was named the Big Ten Player of the Year, led the league in points, 56 in 39 games. And he tries to become Michigan's 4th winner of the trophy, joining Adam Fantilli, Kevin Porter, and Brendan Morrison. The winner is going to be announced on Friday, a week from today. All right. Meanwhile, Western Michigan, who won the national championship a year ago, first time in school history, will do something else for the first time in program history. They will play an outdoor game at Waldo Stadium, and they will do it against Michigan. And that's pretty awesome. It'll happen January 30th. Very cool. We've got some things really, kind of building. You know what I mean? I mean, Michigan State's going to play Thanksgiving Day after the Lions game against Arkansas in basketball. That's pretty cool. Tigers home opener obviously is today. Cardinals are in town. Framber Valdez gets the call to try and snap the team's 4-game slide, searching for his first win. He was really good against the Padres. Allowed 2 runs, 7 hits, 6 innings. He gets the call this afternoon. Downtown Detroit should be buzzing in more ways than one, if you get my drift. Here's our Mitch Lyons Well poll question. Who's going to play for the NCAA title? Michigan and Illinois, Michigan and UConn, Arizona and Illinois, or Arizona and UConn? We'll give you the results on Monday, the night of the national championship game. When we come back, Pistons locked in, their defense impressive, and an impressive young man does something not many have ever done. We'll get to that on the other side here on X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Well.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.tv. That's MHSAA.tv. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
I take a lot of pride in it. Defense 50% of the game, and it gets me going on offense as well. Getting rebounds, getting stops. It gets not only me going, but the whole team going. So just to go in with that mindset, not think about myself, and just play for my teammates.
That's good stuff from Asar Thompson, man. That's I love guys who embrace their role.
Sounds like a really happy locker room, too, by the way.
It does. It should after 56 wins, shouldn't it? But you've liked him for a long time.
I have. He's my favorite player.
I always give you credit for this because I wanted to see more, and I still do offensively. But defensively, he's as good as there is in the NBA. Now, is he going to win NBA Defensive Player of the Year? No. Victor Wembanyama is going to win that.
He'll be all defense on some, whether it's first team, second team.
He'll at least be first team. He's got to be on first team.
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the Pistons fans should be pissed off. There are 3 certains that I think, that Piston fans should expect, and they have every right to. And this is not being a slappy. You know me. That's not who I am.
Oh, yes.
Jalen Duren should be most improved player. Tell me when you think I'm wrong. JB Bickerstaff should be coach of the year.
That one's a home run.
And Asar Thompson should be first team all Big Ten defense. Or all Big Ten, all NBA defense.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah. I think I'm 3 for 3 in agreement with you there. And I'm not a slappy either. I mean, I'm more of a slappy than you are, but I like to think I have some objectivity.
Of those 3, which are you least certain for?
Jalen Duren, most improved.
Mine is Bickerstaff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm most confident in. So I'm curious to hear your rationale.
Because I think Joe Mazzulla is going to get a lot of love because of the loss of Jason Tatum. And that's what people look for. Are you able to get by without your best players? Okay. So I think he's a very good coach, I might add. But look at what Boston has done this year.
He's a very worthy candidate, no doubt.
Yes. Okay. So that's one. Some idiot out there is going to vote for J.J. Redick.
I know.
And the Lakers, who just got punked last night by OKC by 23. Now, they lost Luka Doncic, but you understand. Anyway, I think that's part of it. And I also think, and I hate to say this, but I think it's just a fact where some people, how they feel that Mitch Johnson's going to get a lot of votes.
So let me ask you this, because they do the NBA awards now where there's 3.
I'm sorry, people, in case people don't know, Mitch Johnson is the San Antonio coach. Go ahead.
There's 3 finalists for each award, okay? Mm-hmm, so who would your 3 finalists for Coach of the Year be? JB Bickerstaff, Joe Mazzulla, Mitch Johnson?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And I, by the way, I don't think it should be lost on anybody that OKC's coach, Mark Daigneault, should not. I mean, what he's done this year is pretty impressive too.
Yeah, you don't want to go numb to it.
Well, repeating is really hard. He's won a number of games without his best players on the floor, right?
Yes.
I think that's part of the criteria.
Sure.
And let's put it this way. If I asked you which conference is more challenging, the East or the West?
West for sure, by a mile. And here's the thing, Shep. It's almost like Coach of the Year, to me at least, comes down to one of 2 questions. It's whether do you put stock into a team that takes a leap? Because that's the Pistons. They go from the 6th seed to the 1 seed.
Yes.
Or do you put stock into, do you look a little deeper, and when guys don't have their best players and they're winning games, that's Joe Mazzulla. You know what I mean? And even Mitch Johnson to an extent.
Well, it's obviously JB Bickerstaff for sure.
And that's why he should win it, because he's a combination of both, is what I was getting to there.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I get that. 56 wins, and they're going to have more than that. They're probably going to get to 60. Yeah. Last year, what did OKC have? How many wins did they have?
I will double check that.
I thought they had. Did they have 68 a year ago? I thought they had 68. They have 61 this year.
68 and 14 last year. You're right.
Okay. And they have 61 this year. 61 and 18. If you concur with Trent, and I do, that the West is better. He says hands down. I think if you looked at the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Knicks, top 3 teams in the East, and you went OKC, San Antonio, and the Lakers, you would say of those 6 teams that the 2 best teams right now are in the West. And then I would say the next 2 teams are in the East, Detroit and Boston. And then between New York and LA, I would probably shade a little bit toward the Knicks, even though the Lakers would have the best player between those 2 teams in Luka Doncic, offensive player.
I know you had to swallow hard before getting that sentence out.
Yeah.
You hate both those teams.
Yes, but the depth is where you got Houston and you got Denver and to a certain extent Minnesota. I mean, they played tough last night without Anthony Edwards, right? Whereas in the East, you're looking at a Cleveland team that has been disappointing, although they have made the playoffs, and James Harden has made the playoffs every single year. Atlanta, Philadelphia, those are not deep threats like a Denver could surprise you. Would you want to face Denver in the first round? Probably not.
Hell no.
Yeah. Would you want to face Houston? Probably not. Atlanta's played really good ball, in fairness. I mean, the Hawks are offensively super gifted. They score with the best of them, right? I mean, that's a team that is, averaging close to 119 points per game. They're among the best in basketball when it comes to, or at least in the East, in offensive efficiency. Put that in perspective. They average the same as Oklahoma City and a little bit behind San Antonio, who won again last night without Victor Wembanyama. Thus, the Johnson suggestion. Because San Antonio is just 2 games back in the West. They're going to have over 60 wins, and they've done it a lot without Victor Wembanyama. So I think there's a lot of things to take into account there. That's why I worry a little bit about JB Bickerstaff. I think Thompson is going to make first team all defense. He's the defensive player of the month twice. I think Jalen Duren, when you have members of the national media coming out and saying it's a lock, he's my most improved player, and that's what Brian Windhorst did yesterday for ESPN. Whether you think the guy can dribble, which I don't think he can, which you think whether or not you think he can make a layup, which I don't think he can, he looks incredibly awkward when they put those talent up, standing up on the set with a big screen behind him and asking him to play some type of role in a mock play. It's a bad look. I don't know why producers would do that to him.
It's got to be an inside joke, which is
my God,
a shame, but I mean, come on. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah. He looks as athletic as a 1-week-old baby. It's awful. Okay. So, but he has said that. But here's what you're also getting. And I noticed this yesterday, and I'm not saying it's the gospel. All right. But there are NBA shows every day on certain networks, CBS Sports Network, ESPN, okay? Not on FS1, but ESPN has an NBA live show. I don't know if it's a half an hour or an hour, but it's on every day. Yesterday, they make this dramatic top 5 challenging teams for the crown. Who do you think number 1 was?
OKC.
No, it was San Antonio.
Okay. Was OKC too?
This is with the guy who smiles a lot, Kendrick Perkins. I don't know how you go through a dry run and say, let's give this guy a tryout. He does that, and they're like, yeah, that's the guy we want. Anyway, it was him. It was another former player. It was Windhorst, and it was the host. So 1 was San Antonio. 2 was OKC. 3
Boston
was. You got it.
And knowing Kendrick Perkins,
Boston.
that's not surprising. So you keep everything in context, I mean,
I guess
not letting him off the hook. I'm saying it's BS, but it's because
4 was Denver, and 5 was the Lakers.
So 4 teams in the West.
Correct. So I don't know. While I was watching this being revealed, and they went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because I knew who 1 and 2 were going to be.
Yeah,
and it's okay. We should be able to accept that.
They've earned it.
San Antonio beat Detroit twice. OKC beat Detroit twice. Both teams play in a tougher conference. and both teams have more wins. It's okay to admit that.
They've earned that reputation.
We don't
yes.
have to say our guy is the best no matter what, or our team is the best no matter what. You can give credit where credit is due. Number 3, I didn't know if I should be more upset at number 3, 4, or 5. And obviously, 5 pissed me off. Okay. They've been playing good basketball. Don't get me wrong. Am I wrong in remembering this? Did the Pistons not beat the Lakers twice?
They did.
Okay. And I know it's not all head-to-head. Am I wrong in suggesting this? Do the Pistons not have more wins?
They have more wins than all 3 of those teams. Not the Spurs and Thunder, but all 3 of those teams, 3, 4, and 5.
Denver, LA, and Boston. Yeah.
Yes.
Am I wrong in remembering this? Is Detroit playing good ball too?
Yep.
Okay. And lastly, am I wrong in remembering this? Have they not been more consistent this year?
They have.
Oh, and can I just say one more thing? Detroit is number 1 in the league in blocks, number 1 in the league in steals, number 1 in the league in deflections, number 1 in the league in loose balls recovered, and number 1 in turnover ratio.
Their defense, Shep,
I'm sorry, turnovers forced. Don't preach to me that defense wins championships, and stop spewing bull crap to me that you think teams have to be engaged and overcome some adversity during a season for you to believe in them, because that's exactly what the Pistons have done. I'm not saying that the Lakers haven't overcome adversity or the Celtics, because the Celtics have, and I give them a ton of credit. I'm not saying Denver hasn't. We said this on the show yesterday. Nikola Jokic deserves to be in the MVP conversation as much as Victor Wembanyama and as much as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Look at where he ranks in all the important categories: triple doubles, assists, rebounds, 7th in scoring, and 2nd in double doubles. He's amazing. All right. And he's not getting as much love as he deserves. And I can admit that, but the Pistons sure aren't either. To have them outside your top 5 shows either bias, negligence, or stupidity.
Could it be all 3?
Sure. 3 things can be true at the same time. and tell me if you think I'm wrong there. The Lakers over the Pistons? Absolutely not. Denver over the Pistons? Absolutely not. Boston over the Pistons? Good discussion, but I would say no right now. The Celtics are scary. They can hurt you from outside. They can hurt you from inside. They are a very good basketball team. Detroit, I would say this. Detroit cannot beat them without Cade Cunningham.
Detroit can't beat a lot of teams without Cade Cunningham.
But they've beaten a lot of teams without Cade Cunningham.
I know, but I mean,
they're like 12-4 without him this year,
which is mind-boggling. But I guess what I'm saying is, going into the playoffs, if these doctors are correct and Cade can't play in the first round, I wouldn't.
Well, wait a minute. I didn't. Don't say doctors. I said I talked to a guy yesterday.
Okay.
Who said he would be surprised that if he played in the first round.
Okay.
Let me just clarify.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you for that. So all I'm saying is I wouldn't be worried in round 1.
I wouldn't either.
I would be worried in round 2 for sure.
Absolutely.
Because you're at that point, you're playing one of the top 4 teams in the East, at least in theory, right? So that's tough.
Now, I would ask you this, and be honest. Would it concern you a little bit playing Charlotte
in round 1?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. I think that would go like 6 games, Shep, but I think the Pistons would take care of business.
Yeah. I would give Charlotte a win.
Yeah.
I
at least
think
one.
I think they can make you a little uneasy. Con Knippel just set the franchise record for number of 3-pointers made in a season, breaking the record set by Kemba Walker. I'm not talking about a rookie record. I'm talking about the franchise record in a single season.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker has 2 of the most prolific 3-point shooting seasons in franchise history, 2 of the top 5, including number 1 until Con Knippel, who might win Rookie of the Year.
He could. Maybe he should.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's the favorite, but between Knippel and Ball, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Offensively, they could give the Pistons a series.
Yes.
Not just a game. I think they could win 2 games.
Yeah, I don't
we'll
know
see.
I don't know if I'm willing to go quite that far, but like I said, it could make you a little nervous.
Uneasy. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If you're without Cade, we're saying.
Yeah, that's a big if. And I hope that is not the case. And here's why I hope it's not because of me, it's not because of you, it's not because of Pistons fans. Okay? It's because of the team and because of Cade Cunningham.
Yes.
When you have a season like this is not 2 years ago where the Pistons played the role of Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. Oh, my arm. I think it's broken. I need somebody to take my place, right? That's not what it is. This is a situation where Cade Cunningham has worked his ass off to get to this stage of his career. He is one of the best players in the world. Even Jalen Duren said it last night, and it's not biased. There's no question he's a top 3 MVP candidate if he's healthy, and that's true, okay? I still think Jokic would be in that conversation, and Jaylen Brown, as well as Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those should be your 5 guys. And not a food chain either. I'm talking about 5 guys who deserve to be in the conversation. But when you work that hard and you accomplish as much as he's accomplished, I think it's really important that guys like that get rewarded.
Absolutely.
And a team to overcome what they have been able to overcome. I would like to see it for them too. Do I want it for me and you and every Piston fan? You damn right I do. But that's not the priority for me. This team and franchise, and down here is the fan base too, deserve to have somebody like this help them along the way. Now, you could say the same thing about Boston when they lost Jason Tatum last year, Indianapolis or Indiana when they lost Tyrese Halliburton.
But in an alternate universe,
Indiana didn't go through this type of season, overcome what they did 2 years ago, 14 wins, 28 straight losses. I mean, you talk about misery. You talk about a joke. You talk about bags on your head. This is the New Orleans Saints of the early 80s. And yet they've been able to overcome this with a guy like that who has led and played at the highest level.
And you're right. It's not just Detroit. It's in an alternate universe. If this was Minnesota losing Anthony Edwards after the season the Pistons just had, you'd feel the same way, right?
For sure. For sure.
It's a principle thing.
Yep.
It just happens to be our team, but it's not because it's our team that we feel this way.
Our team will open its home portion of its schedule today, the Tigers. All eyes on one Kevin McGonigal for good reason, because he's considered among the next wave of phenoms. J.J. Weatherhold, who plays shortstop for St. Louis. I want you to watch him during the weekend as well. There's another guy who's even younger than McGonigal who got called up by Pittsburgh yesterday, and his name is Connor Griffin. He will make his major league debut before his 20th birthday, joining teenage position players in the 21st century like Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Jurickson Profar, Mike Trout, Justin Upton, Melvin Upton Jr., Jose Reyes, and Wilson Betemit. Those are the teens who made major league debuts. Connor Griffin is an absolute baller and should have made the team out of spring. But he's going to do it for Pittsburgh. It's a pretty cool story. Mock draft when we come back. We had a couple yesterday. We've got a new one for you today, and I think you're going to like it. That's next on X's and Bros, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now, they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m. presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
From Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Muskegon, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Lansing, and beyond, you are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the Huge Show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Okay, second hour of the program. Glad you're with us here on X's and Bros. I want to get to some texts. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Our buddy Freddie is always on time for us, and we always appreciate that very much. He said the scenario, Trajan Langdon can only sign one and has to do a sign and trade with the other. Who's the signing long term? Who is he signing and trading like they did with Grant Hill between Asar Thompson and Duren? Well, I don't think you have to do that. That's a scenario that is not going to play out. I would think if you were going to trade one, you would trade Asar Thompson before you'd trade Jalen Duren. You have a franchise center and you have a franchise point guard. You also have a guy who is considered one of the best defensive players in the league. You can keep them all. This is not a situation where they're in a tough spot like the Lions. Shep, if you want an answer when calling an opening day, how does this day start and end until the game is over? You know what? That's a good question. Here's the hard thing about baseball. Like, you can predict certain games. You can predict football, and more people do. I think football, more people bet on football than anything else, right? As far as the game is concerned. Because, I mean, you've got certain players and certain teams that dominate in certain ways, right? Basketball, I'm sure gets a lot of betting because clearly some teams are tanking and other teams are actually carrying. Hockey is very difficult. I would have bet, last night that Buffalo would have taken care of business against Ottawa, and yet they didn't. I wouldn't have thought Carolina would have blown out Columbus the way they did, and yet they did. And Carolina clinched a playoff spot or the division. Baseball is really hard. And the reason baseball is really hard is because you got that one guy on the mound who's a pitcher. If he's on, it could be lights out, but you don't know how long he's going to be in there. How's a manager feel about look at what Casey Mize did the other night. Casey Mize went 6 innings, had 9 strikeouts, gave up 1 run to Arizona. And he had, 86 pitches, Trent? Something like that? 93. I'm sorry, 93 pitches.
93, yeah.
Right. Did you feel like he had another inning in him? It looked like it,
yes.
Didn't it? Okay. Here's the issue with that. In a perfect world, I shouldn't even say it's a perfect world, but in a good pitching inning world, you're throwing under 14 pitches. So let's say he throws 13. That's in a good one, all right? And he's already thrown 93 pitches. So you send him out there, let's say he throws another 13. Suddenly, it's 106 pitches, more pitches than he's ever thrown in his first start of the season. But you would have thought, after striking out 9, going 6 strong, doing what he did, holding Arizona's offense down, he was due for another inning.
I just wish that pitch count wasn't even a thing. I wish you didn't even know. I wish no one could tell unless you're sitting there in the first row with the clicker and you're counting yourself. I wish it wasn't on the TV because managers look so deep into it, and I understand they have a job to do. But Shep, yes, he had another inning in him. Absolutely. I don't care if it's the most pitches he's ever thrown.
Right. I don't either. You would think, you and I together, we would have thought he had another inning left in him.
Absolutely.
I don't know what was said between him and AJ Hinch and Chris Fetter. And I don't know what, I think Jake Rogers was catching him, what Jake Rogers said either, because they do tap into the knowledge of the catcher.
Mm-hmm.
How's the splitter? It's still moving well. What's the fastball? It's still got good velo. All right. And good movement. It's not just the velo, by the way. It's the movement off the velo that they're talking to catchers about. So those are all important pieces to the decision-making process. I don't think it's just pitch count. It's how well you're throwing, how good you feel, and how good that catcher's receiving your quote-unquote stuff. The other thing that they take into account that you and I and sometimes nobody does is, let's say he gets 2 outs. Let's say he gets the leadoff man on and the next guy out. And there's a runner at first and only 1 batter away or 1 out away, and you've got the heart of the order coming up. I got to bring my reliever in the middle of an inning. I know that's a pansy way to look at it. But there are certain managers with certain pitchers who want certain matchups and feel like it is better to start with a clean inning. You may not always agree with it. You may not like it, but that's not unique to A.J. Hinch. That said, that's why baseball is really hard, okay? So I don't know how the day starts and ends, but I made a bold prediction before the season began. Framber Valdez is going to throw more innings than Tarek Skubal. We were just looking at bold predictions. I think Framber Valdez is going to be very good today. I think he's going to be good all year long. I think it's a really impressive signing by the Tigers. I think Detroit will have a really nice offensive day. I think guys are going to break out today. They only got one home run on the year. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees in Detroit. Shep, Pistons are a good team, especially if you're looking at the record. But until they win a playoff series or more, respectively, the only way to look at the Pistons this year, 80% or more of the NBA teams barely play night to night. Sit players, ask time. Credit to the Pistons. They don't expect last week that they tanked in OKC. I don't think they tanked in OKC. Otherwise, they don't push into overtime. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, if you can't judge the Pistons until they win a playoff series, don't comment on them. Because every single time you say something negative, we can say, well, it doesn't really matter because we got to wait till the playoffs. And every time you say something positive, the response will be, it doesn't really matter. 80% of the teams tank, and the playoffs is all that matters.
Shep, I just had this conversation with some buddies the other night. Like, the Pistons have reached the point in the season. They're not going to change your mind one way or another.
Nope.
There's 5 games left. They're not going to change your mind in a good way, in a bad way. You either believe or you don't right now. And yes, we're in purgatory until we get to the playoffs or get Cade Cunningham back. No one's going to form any opinions until then.
And it's really too bad.
Yeah.
It's really too bad.
Yeah, it is.
They deserve people to be excited about them because of how they've played and how consistently they've played this year. I hate they haven't shown me anything until they make the playoff stuff. Turn the TV off. Turn off the radio. Don't follow them. Because anything they do can't be impressionable on you based off that comment.
Yes, like the people that have followed this team and lived and died with this team over the last 4 months, they can't celebrate a win. They can't be happy.
The team can't. You're going to bitch and moan that 80% of the teams tank. You've got a team out there that gives it its all on a regular basis, which with whatever players they have available, and you're going to sit there and complain about it. Sorry, I don't want to watch them or I don't want to judge them until the playoffs begin. You can have 2 judgments. You can judge a team and say, that's one hell of a regular season. Wipe the slate clean. Let's see if they can play in the postseason like they did in the regular season.
But you give them their credit for the former. You'd hope, right? It's worth something.
This is a good text, though. This one says, Trajan earns his money this summer. He says he wanted to watch this year. Here you go. Go earn your money. It's a good point. Trajan Langdon didn't want to necessarily make a big quote-unquote splash at the trade deadline. He picked up Kevin Huerter, who actually has been pretty good as of late, averaging about 13 points a game. But he said he wanted to see what this team, now he should know what this team needs. Correct? I think that's fair to say. This team needs shooters. Will you go out and get them? This one, Freddie shine back in. Sorry, I was asking what a day is for a play-by-play guy from the start of the day until the game ends. Oh, my apologies. Well, I'll explain that on. Yeah, that is a good question, Freddie. Thank you. I will answer that on the other side. Okay. This hour is brought to you by Meyer. I do want to get into a mock draft from the Lions that should make you pretty happy. I'll explain in a moment after this.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org. Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Obviously, right from the beginning of the game, I knew it was going to be a tough game, tough road game. And, it's hockey, right? Nothing's going to go perfect throughout the game, whether it's them tying it up or them pressuring us there in the third. We knew we had to have some momentum shifts go the other way. I thought JT's line with Razor and DP was awesome all night long, and they created a lot, especially on the forecheck. Found a way to get some time in the goals for sure.
That is Patrick Kane, who had a big night for the Red Wings last night, a goal and 2 helpers to get them to a 4-2 win in Philadelphia. By the way, that's just, according to the broadcast, that is just their 4th win in Philly in the last 25 tries in Philly. And Kane was right in the middle of it. DeBrincat had a couple of goals as well. When he was talking about the line that was really good, he was talking about JT Comfer, who had 1 assist. He was talking about Lucas Raymond, who had 1 goal. And he was talking about David Perron, who had only 1 shot. But they found a way and did things that perhaps we just don't always recognize, number one. And number 2, unless you play the game. And number 2, you're not going to find it on a stat sheet. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. It's 20 after the hour. Glad you're with us. You can let us know how you feel about whatever is that might be on your mind. Text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Call us, 866-838-4843. That's the Meyer hotline. Or you can join us in the chat. We'd love getting some comments in the chat via Twitter, Facebook, or on YouTube as we stream live. Just before the break, Freddie had clarified a text about as a play-by-play guy. So I've been fortunate because I've been to some opening days and getting ready to call them. I would tell you this, the game is at 1 o'clock. Anytime we had a 1 o'clock game, I was probably at the ballpark 8 a.m. And on opening day, 8 a.m. is about right because of, the traffic and the excitement. I was always a guy, I don't know what time the crew gets there these days. And I mean the talent, but I was always a guy who got there early because I love the smell, the sound, and the look of a ballpark, no matter what. So there was always 3 buses to a ballpark on the road or, not at home, obviously, but on the road. I was always on the first bus. And the reason I like the first bus is because I like to get there and I like to set up. And I honestly, sometimes, you're getting ready for a game the night before, but I love looking out at the ballpark and I love watching them manicure the field. And then one of my favorite things was going into the clubhouse, no matter what sport I was calling. I love going into clubhouses. I love going into locker rooms and talking to players about things other than the game they're about to play. I just like to get to know them. Okay. I think that's really important. So that's what you're doing. You've got all your work, hopefully most of your work done the night before, but then, as you get ready for a game, you are looking for the lineups. And as soon as you get the lineups, you put those in your book, you write down some of additional notes that you have for the book, and you can backfill it with a bunch of stories that you've collected. At least this is how I operated. Backfill it with a bunch of stories that you've collected before the game. So today you're probably going down there when the clubhouse opens, and it should be probably around 10:30 or so, and say, what's opening day at home feel like for you? And just get that emotional part of it. I love looking in players' eyes and see how it changes, especially today. It's a special feeling. I'll be honest with you. Even though I had chances for well over 20 years to go to opening day, I never did until I started calling games. And I never did because, quite honestly, it's the thing that I always wanted to do with my dad. And I never had a chance to do that. One of the biggest regrets in life. Didn't have a lot of money growing up. Could not afford to go to opening day. Lucky if we went to a couple of games a year. My father, my brother, and I was never fortunate enough to go to an opening day with my dad. And it's something I always wanted to do. And even though I was given assignments to do opening day, I preferred not to go into the ballpark on opening day because of it's just something that I wanted to experience first with my dad. And if I couldn't do it with my dad, I didn't want to do it at all. Stupid, maybe to some, strange, but that's just how I felt until I got the job of calling games. And then, of course, you do that, So that's how I felt about opening day. Opening day is, I know how special it is in Detroit. I'm not going to lie. It's bittersweet for me, without a doubt. But there is something special about it in Detroit and Cincinnati, those two cities, probably more than any other, on how they feel about it. It is, if I were governor of the state of Michigan, I would make it a holiday. I would say, you know what? Schools can close. If schools can close for being, 30 degrees because it's too cold for people today. Oh my God, how are you going to handle it? Oh, goodness gracious. If schools can close for that, and they can close for certain holidays, they can close for what we would consider to be a really big holiday. It's one day, all right? Give people the opportunity to watch the game. It's an afternoon game, as we all know. Give them an opportunity to go downtown and explore and experience the feeling and pride we have of what this is all about. You can make it up on the back end. All right. I mean, if school's over June 7th, would it be awful for June 8th? If that's the big argument, I would say no. Make it a state holiday. That's my opinion. All right. But I appreciate the phone call very much. I appreciate the text very, very much. All right, I want to get to this. Probably shared too much of that with you. ESPN came out with a mock draft. And whether you like Mel Kiper or not, and I can't say that I'm the biggest fan, I do respect greatly his intense research of all these players. He's not a guy who can give you the first two rounds. He can give you deep into player assessment. He's come out with a 3-round draft, all right? And in the first round for Detroit at 17, he's got them taking Monroe Freeling. I'm not going to tell you I was the first person to tell you about this kid, but in case you didn't know, that's the guy I've wanted since the season ended, college football season ended. That's the guy I'm like, look, when we found out Taylor Decker wasn't coming back, that's the guy. And even before then, that's the guy. I think he's a legitimate left tackle. Big, strong, but here's what I like about him. He's super athletic. Okay? And Kiper writes, regardless of which side Penei Sewell plays next season, the Lions need a long-term answer. And the other offensive tackle spot, Freeling started just 18 games in college, but he's long, he's quick, his ceiling is really high. So, like that a lot. All right. So just keep that player's name in mind. I don't know if I'm the first person to tell you about it. Probably not. But if you listen to the show long enough, you know damn well that I did tell you about it. And it's a guy that we're going to monitor moving forward. It's kind of like Zach Frazier with the center for Pittsburgh. In the second round, he goes with Jayshawn Barham from Michigan. He writes, Detroit goes down the road to get a sudden defender who is still ascending after moving from linebacker to a full-time edge rusher. Barham could help fill the void opposite Aiden Hutchinson. You notice the theme that everybody has in these mock drafts for Detroit. It's tackle and it's edge early. It's not secondary, which I find interesting. Not that they don't need tackle and edge. I'm not sure how much I would like that. I like the Monroe Freeling. I don't like the Barham pick. I think he takes plays off. I didn't think he was consistent enough. And I think it's going to be a lot harder at the next level. Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. This second hour of X's and Bros on a Friday morning, opening day, brought to you by Meyer.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m. presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
From Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Muskegon, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Lansing, and beyond, you are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Little anti-ghost coming back. I like that on a Friday. Welcome here to X's and Bros, Monday through Friday.
You got the anti-ghost shirt on too, Shep.
Yeah, I got the sweatshirt going. Yeah,
the merch,
pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You'll be able to see them a little bit more, perhaps, in Detroit.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I want to. We're going to get to this here in a moment. The LeBron James stuff. He said something interesting. He was part of Bob on Sports, or it's really funny. I mean, I don't know if you've ever followed it. It's pretty good. It's guys who they go out and play golf with celebrities and they make money off it. Not a bad way to make a living. We'll get to that here in a minute. CBS Sports. I think I said this yesterday. I didn't give this mock draft, but I just wanted a quick synopsis for you on what they gave Detroit, and they did a full-blown draft for every single team. That's a hard thing to do. That takes a lot of research and all that other stuff. Here's who they have the lines taken, and the only reason I'm giving you this is because I just want you to have names in your head just in case. Monroe Freeling, again, I think that's a home run at 17. I think he'll be gone, but that would be a home run if I'm the Lions. It's the guy I want. It's let me rephrase that. It's one of the guys I want. I like Ionia from Penn State, the guard. But I also understand, they've got a couple of guys who are going to be competing at the guard position. They got a couple of guys competing at the tackle position too. I don't know why we think it's automatically tackle because Taylor Decker left. You can still get strong by getting Vega Ionia from Penn State. In round 2, CBS Sports has got Gabe Jackas. He's the edge from Illinois. I see him as an underrated player. In round 4, and this might be as interesting as anything, and it might have a lot of us run through a window and jump. Carson Beck, the quarterback from Miami, Florida. No, thank you. Round 4, Jake Slaughter. He's the interior offensive lineman for Florida. And he's a guy who's considered a really powerful blocker. All right. Big kid, obviously. Anytime you're playing at the collegiate level, especially in the SEC, and you're inside, you better be powerful. Athletic center. He can also play guard. Who plays with a consistent anchor. This is a scouting report on him. Even against bigger, more powerful defensive tackles. He excels at moving defenders off the line of scrimmage, uses his low pad level to win the leverage battle. Whether he's blocking between the tackles or finding targets in open space, his combination of power and mobility allow him to sustain blocks and create a clear lane for running backs. He was a 2-time All-SEC performer, and last year allowed 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and only 2 hurries. So the power, the leverage, the lateral mobility, all good stuff. One might say, why would you last until the 4th round? Because centers aren't valued by a lot of people. Pick 5, TJ Hall, the corner from Iowa. That's in the 5th round. And then Nate Borkircher, the tight end from Texas A&M. Lewis Bond, the wide receiver from Boston College. In round 6, Jimmy Rolder, the linebacker from Michigan. And round 7, a kicker, Drew Stevens from Iowa. And I guess you bury him on the practice squad since they just re-upped with their kicker.
Yeah, Jake Bates. That's a weird one. I don't know why you'd pick a kicker, why you'd waste a pick.
Good player at his position and best player available. And what if Jake Bates goes down? I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. It's a little odd. What do you think of the Jimmy Rolder pick in the 6th round?
Yeah,
6th round. What do you want out of a 6th round pick? You want?
Well, Malcolm Rodriguez went what, 5th round?
I believe so.
If you could give me something like that, I would take that every single draft. If you can give me one special teamer who, I don't even care if he's a fan favorite or not, but just being vocal, he's a leader, and he steps right in, starts making plays on special teams. That's what I hope you'd get out of a 6th round pick.
Yeah, 6'2", 240 or so, probably a little light.
Yeah.
For
Seems
but
that way.
But here's the thing he can do. He can move, man, and he can cover. So a guy who I think in the shuttle I don't know if it was a pro day or the combine. I can't
I think it was the
which.
combine. You're right.
It was the combine. At the shuttle, he ran a 4.26. Okay. So he's, like I said, he's not a big guy. A 6th-round choice. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
It's almost like anything's gravy at that point. That's no disrespect to those guys, but it's like,
I agree.
Yeah, if he can contribute in any way at all.
Dude, that's why Christian Mahogany, who was a 6th-round choice, starting at the left guard, if you hit on that, and I know he struggled, he's going to compete for that job as of right now. He and Miles Frazier, who was a 5th-round pick. Those two guys compete. You get a starter out of that. That's almost like you get 2.
And there were some highs for Christian Mahogany too. Let's not kid ourselves. I know you know that. I know that because we watched all the games.
Not as many.
Not nearly as many. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying it's not like it was a complete crap show all year with Christian Mahogany. He had some highs.
Yeah. Look, anytime you're starting for the first time, and it's not like he hadn't played before but he hadn't taken a lot of snaps.
Right.
Okay. He had taken his entire first year, 2 years ago. He had taken the equivalent to what could be one game of snaps. I think he had like 72, 73, 74 snaps in his entire season. So he wasn't getting a ton of snaps. You start getting that repetition, it's supposed to slow down for you. It's supposed to get a little easier. It's not always the case. Quite challenging. He needs to be better. If he were that good, that competition wouldn't be wide open. And it is wide open. You have 3 solids on the offensive line right now. You know who one of your tackles is going to be, Penei Sewell. And the reason I say it that way, because I don't know if they're going to move him to left tackle, depending on who they draft. Blake Miller out of Clemson, he could start at right tackle tomorrow. And Sewell goes to left. That's what the scouts say. That's not me. It's the scouts say. Caden Proctor, probably same thing. Monroe Freeling, he could play left. A lot depends on what Caden Proctor played left in college. So a lot depends on, the experience there, whether you think they're ready. The upside for Freeling and Proctor are really high. Miller might be the most established right away. Anyway, Chris Mahogany is a guy who's, if he doesn't win it in camp, that tells you something right there, because he got the majority of the snaps a year ago, but he wasn't nearly good enough. Tate Ratledge he had ups and downs. I have no problem with that. I understand that. This year is a telltale sign for guys who had that many opportunities, that many snaps, on whether or not they can win the job, solidify the job, and become better at what they did from last year. Okay. Speaking of the NFL, SI.com came out and ranked their top 50 NFL free agent signings. Now, we know how many free agents the Lions have signed, 14, and we know how many were one-year deals, 13. The only multi-year deal was Cade Mays, the center. How many do you think made CB or SI.com's top 50 free agents?
1.
The answer to that is 1. And the answer is Cade Mays.
That's what I would have thought. And I'm going to guess it's in like the 40s. What did they say?
37.
Oh, okay. So they're a little bit higher on it than I would have thought.
Here's what they wrote. The Lions weren't super active in free agency. What? But they shored up one of their biggest needs by signing Mays at center. They don't go into deep detail on it. I thought they were pretty active. May not be big names, may not be the names you want or the positions you want or the length of contract that you want, but they were active.
That's the difference, Shep. If you don't sign names that people know, then you're not active.
Correct.
Give me a break.
I agree. Look, 14 for them. What stood out to me, one of the names that stood out to me, was Rasheed Walker. They got him at 14. And again, this isn't the be all end all. It's like okay, since that's the blueprint, we got to follow at SI.com. But it is something that national writers come together
it's
on
a basis.
and write about. Right. And when I see that, Rasheed Walker, 1 year, $10 million for Carolina, which was one of the bigger surprises, I think, in free agency. You could argue it's the biggest surprise in free agency. What many people considered the best tackle in free agency to only get a 1 year deal was stunning to me. I think everybody thought he was going to get a multi-year deal and make a lot of money, including him. The other tackle, the second biggest name in free agency, was Braden Smith. Braden Smith went to Houston on a 2 year, $25 million deal. I thought those two guys would go for multi-year deals, and obviously Smith got the 2 year deal, but I thought it would be longer than that because they were considered what many people would say franchise tackles. Who do you think is, I'll give you 3 guesses on the top free agent.
Honestly, Shep, I don't know. Shoot it to me.
Tyler Linderbaum. They have as number 1.
They paid a lot of money for him, though.
They paid too much money for him. Way too much money.
For
he
a
set
center.
The standard. He set the standard at $27 million a year.
It's absurd.
The previous high was 18 and change. They blew it out of the water. That's crazy stuff.
To reset the market for a
how,
position by like 10 million, basically.
Yes,
that is outrageous.
It is outrageous. Now, look, you know how I feel about interior offensive linemen. I think they're really important.
Very.
I appreciate them. I am a big lineman guy. I think that's where your heartbeat is. I draft them. People, you got to draft a quarterback every draft. I draft linemen, okay? Because I think you need depth there. You're only playing one quarterback. You're playing 2 guards, you're playing 2 tackles, you're playing a center. And those guys, why do you think they all wear knee braces? Because they are getting hit from behind, hit from the side, hit in front.
They're laboring.
They're the only position where their back is to the football. Nobody else's back is to the football. Even defensive players. I mean, unless you're Terrion Arnold, where you're running and trying to catch up to the wide receiver. So that was mean.
That was good.
But that's what they're really important. All right. But that much money for a center, outrageous. Their number 2 free agent was Devin Lloyd. I agree with that. Their number 3 is Kyler Murray. I disagree with that.
That's
number 4,
awful.
Jalen Phillips, and 5, Malik Willis. I would put Malik Willis ahead of Kyler Murray.
Me too.
I talked with somebody yesterday. They're a big believer that Kyler Murray is going to make a huge difference for Minnesota and that Minnesota is the second best team in the division.
Okay, so how do you feel? How does that land with you? Because
I do my best. I'm not very good at it sometimes. I do my very best to keep an open mind about certain players. I didn't like Kyler Murray coming out of college. Okay? I want my quarterback being able to run. I don't want a running quarterback.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
There is.
I don't want my quarterback getting beat up. I don't want him getting hit constantly. I want him to be able to move the ball downfield by throwing it, but also being able to run. The threat of running, I think, is important. There's a difference between a running quarterback and a quarterback who can run, all right? Kyler Murray, to me, he's just a guy. And I know Arizona went all in on him. Oh, my gosh. And he's made some incredible plays. I'm not doubting his athleticism. It's obvious he's athletic. Otherwise, you're not a first-round draft pick in the Major League Baseball draft. First-round pick in the Major League Baseball draft and first-round pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Of course he's athletic. I give him a ton of credit for that, okay? I would be lying to you if I didn't say or think that the height is a bit of an issue, because I think it is.
I think that's a big part of it, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, I just don't. I mean, the Vikings won 9 games last year.
Yeah.
Do you think with Kyler Murray, they're going to win 12? No, I don't, at least.
Why?
Because I feel the same way you do about him as a
Okay.
quarterback. I think the Vikings actually kind of won in spite of their quarterback last year. or their quarterback play, I should say, because they had like 3 or 4 different starters. But I don't know how adding Kyler Murray makes you feel better about that team in this division, because I think all 3 teams outside Minnesota also have really good things going for them. I could be wrong there, but
no, I agree with you. Chicago obviously has some mojo taking place without a doubt.
Just won the division.
Green Bay was not as active as I thought they would be, and they lost some key players. Rasheed Walker, Quay Walker, for example. They've lost a couple of key guys.
Mm-hmm. But they're getting Micah Parsons back, Yeah,
they lost Rashawn Gary.
They did.
Okay. So it's going to be a one. So they've got some things to address. I'm sure people outside of Detroit are looking at the Lions as a vulnerable piece only because they've lost a left tackle. They're not sure about the left guard if they're doing a deep dive. They know their secondary is weak, and they know they don't get much of a pass rush outside of Aiden Hutchinson, and they also lost a playmaking linebacker.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Let's take our team and put that under the microscope. That's what people are looking at outside of Detroit. Otherwise, we're not reading articles where they're not very active in free agency.
Yeah, and I got that. I'm just looking at it from a Minnesota perspective. I don't know how you can feel better this season with Kyler Murray and think, oh, we're going to win this division with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't think that's what anybody is saying per se.
I would hope not.
But what they are saying is saying that they're as good as Green Bay and Detroit.
And
let's face it. Minnesota was better than Detroit last year.
Yes.
Fact? Okay. And they had the weakest quarterback in the division. Fact?
Yep.
Arguably the weakest quarterback in the conference. Who had a worse quarterback situation than the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC, maybe even in all of football?
Maybe the Saints, only because of youth.
But
I thought Shuck was fine. Yeah.
He was fine. He's their starter going in, unlike J.J. McCarthy or 9. He's not their starter. So I would say Minnesota had the worst quarterback situation in football. Now you get Kyler Murray, whether you and I like him or not, he's a legitimate starter, and he's been starting for 7 years. Now, the convenient argument is you won't use his winning and loss record against him. You'll do it for Matthew Stafford, and you'll do it for other players, but you won't do it for Kyler Murray.
We will pick and choose, Shep.
Absolutely. That's the way sports is. Kyler Murray has never won more than 9 games in a season. And you know how I feel about that stat. You're not putting that record against J.J. Watt. You're putting it only against Kyler Murray. It doesn't go against Marvin Harrison Jr. It goes against Kyler Murray, and I don't think it's right. But that's the way it works. And if you're going to judge other quarterbacks based on that, then why are you not doing that with him? Oh, because he was a first-round pick? Hey, so was Matthew Stafford. Oh, because he's a little diminutive. And because the Cardinals stink? What, the Lions were great? Come on. We pick and choose. It's just not right. All right, when we come back, the Final Four, big day tomorrow. We're going to start talking about it here on X's and Bros when we come back after this. This hour has been brought to you by our friends at Meijer.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
The Michigan Sports Network is your exclusive home for X's and Bros with Matt Shepard and The Huge Show later today at 3 p.m.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
The Michigan Sports Network is your exclusive home for X's and Bros with Matt Shepard and The Huge Show later today at 3 p.m.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
All right, back with you here on X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Thanks for being here. We know you've got choices, and I know at times you're going to listen to some other programs. We hope we can get you to listen to this show every once in a while and for a period of time. We don't expect 3 hours out of you. We'd love that, but we hope that we have a discussion that makes you think, a discussion that is based on unbiased opinion, and a discussion that brings you some interesting facts that maybe you'll talk about with some friends later on. Always appreciate the time. You know that sometimes everybody can get biased. I can. It's honest, all right? I can be very biased against certain players and certain teams and certain people who rule leagues, Roger Goodell. For me, one of those players is LeBron James as well. Doesn't mean that I can't give him credit where credit is due, because he deserves it, without question. Age 41, doing what he does. I wish more people would recognize the accomplishments of Alexander Ovechkin, who is better at his sport at his age than LeBron James is at his. But hockey's in the back of everybody's minds. It's not sure the forefront like the NBA is with LeBron James. But I will give you this. LeBron James is willing to go out there and do some things that maybe some others may not. I don't know if you've ever seen, but Bob on Sports, it's three guys who, well, they're not very good golfers. One guy's actually a pretty good golfer. They call him Fat Perez, FP. He can actually play. The other two guys, not very good.
No, they're just smacking it around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm better than they are, but they're not very good.
But they're having fun.
They have fun. Oh man, it's kind of enjoyable. One of my sons watches it. I can't watch, an hour and a half, 2 hours of them just playing golf. If I'm going to watch 2 hours of golf, I'm going to watch guys who can actually play. But they have good guests on. Excuse me. And they had LeBron James on recently. They asked him his most memorable moments so far in his soon-to-be NBA Hall of Fame career. You'll recognize one of them. Listen, here's the clip.
What top three are you taking? Iguodala's got to be in there, no?
That's number one.
Yep.
Block to seal it, basically.
Has to be.
The alley-oop in Boston, the dunk.
Sure.
On Jason Terry.
Oh, yeah.
That's up there. And I don't know if it's like one particular highlight, but this game in particular, 29 out of 30, the last 25 points scored in Detroit.
Okay.
In the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm the biggest LeBron fan in the world. I'll tell you, the block did not seal it at all. It was a tie game at that point with Iguodala.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out of the way. Kyrie's shot is what sealed it.
Yeah, you're not the biggest LeBron fan in the world. LeBron's the biggest LeBron fan in the world.
Touche.
But I thought it was a very interesting point, because I understand why it's in there, because he was unstoppable at the Palace. Unstoppable. All right, let's get to the Final Four, because you've got the Final Four taking place in Indianapolis tomorrow. And by the way, yeoman's work by our friend Bill Simonson. The Huge Show was fantastic yesterday. 3 to 7, Monday through Friday, on these same great station affiliates. And he was at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook Ascend. I don't know if he had the Ascend burger, but I would have recommended it. The Ascend burger and fries, just fantastic. Shrimp's pretty damn good too. But anyway, so he pulled a winner for the VIP sports package. So way to go, Billy. Good job, Brett Hayes. Everybody associated with it. They pull a winner. That winner and a friend are going today. He might be en route right now. Time is it? 5 after 8. To Tigers opening day against St. Louis. They're going to stay the night in Metro Detroit. And then tomorrow they're taking a private jet. Nice and easy, relaxing, comfortable, and heading to Indianapolis. And they're watching the Final Four. They're going to watch Illinois square off against UConn. And then they're going to watch Michigan tangle with Arizona. And then they're going to fly back, stay at a Metro Detroit hotel, and then get a nice, comfortable, feels like a chauffeured ride back to Soaring Eagle. What a weekend, right? Since 2018, every team to beat Duke, which was UConn, has lost their next game in the men's tournament.
Wait, read that one more time. Yeah.
Since 2018, every team to beat Duke in the tournament has lost the next game in the tournament.
Wow.
In 2018, Kansas beat Duke and then lost in the Final Four. In 2019, Michigan State beat Duke in the Elite Eight and then lost in the Final Four. Louisville in 2021 beat Duke in the ACC tournament championship game, and then was in the first four out. In 2022, UNC beat Duke in the Final Four and then lost in the national championship game. In 2023, Tennessee beat Duke in the field of 32 and then lost in the Sweet 16. And then in 2024, North Carolina State beat Duke in the Elite Eight and then lost in the Final Four. UConn just beat Duke, as you know, and now plays Illinois.
How do you feel? Does that trend change your mind at all, Shep? Are you superstitious?
It does not. It does not.
So you got
I'm
UConn,
a little stitious.
What you're saying. I'm a little stitious, but I'm not
stitious.
superstitious.
Yeah. What line was that from? What movie?
The Office. It's The Office.
Yes. Or that's that's right. That's right. God.
My brother bought me a t-shirt, Shep, that has that on it.
I'm a little stitious?
Yes, I'm a little stitious, but I'm not superstitious. I got that for Christmas one year.
That's funny. I hope you still have it and wear it once in a while. Wear it proudly. It's funny shit. Anyway, or funny stuff, excuse me. Anyway, so I think I think that's that's one of the things that, maybe some people should perhaps take into account. I think UConn is going to win. I think UConn's a really good team. I think a team that can shoot from the outside. Terrace Reed has been incredible. Do you believe that experience at this level matters? Because that's what everybody's okay.
I'm a huge believer in that. But
okay,
are you going to go Arizona here?
Well, what I was going to say is, if you believe that experience matters, I don't know how you handicap the Michigan-Arizona game, because Arizona is full of a lot of key guys are freshmen. Here's Tommy Lloyd, the Arizona head coach, on his team and their ability and what they got going for them as they get ready for Michigan.
I think it all comes down to just really good players. Obviously, when you talk about freshmen, I think there's an assumption that they're inexperienced and youthful. And, but some of these freshmen are maybe more experienced, than we give them credit for. I mean, some of these guys, they played in state championship games. They played in gold medal games. They've done these AAU circuits that I know that you frequented a little bit around. And these kids are maybe a little more worldly than people give them credit for. And then, it depends on how they've been raised and their maturity levels. So our freshmen, I literally don't look at them as freshmen right now. I just look at them as good basketball players.
I think that's the right way to look at it. The pressure, quote unquote, how do we view freshmen being able to handle that? The guy who hit the game-winning shot was a freshman for UConn.
Smacked it too. Didn't even hit the rim.
Didn't even have a good game.
Right.
Look
that was his
numbers.
first three. Yeah.
1 out of 5. Okay. From deep. And by hitting the three, he reached double digits. He had 10 points, finished with 10 points. But he was not afraid of taking the shot. He was not afraid of missing that shot. Therein lies probably the difference, right? Of them now compared to others. Some more sound from some of the coaches. We'll get to that, like Brad Underwood and Dusty May as well. And something that Danny Hurley said that might rub some people the wrong way. We'll talk about that on the other side. This is X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Avelo Airlines. AveloAir.com. Fly in comfort, fly in style, fly with pros. Avelo Air.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.tv. That's MHSAA.tv. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
From Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Muskegon, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Lansing, and beyond, you are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard only on the Michigan Sports Network.
been 9 years dreaming a big dream since I took the Illinois job. And I'm excited that this group of guys gets to experience this opportunity. We know that we've got a great opponent in UConn, a team that we saw earlier in the year. Excited for our fans, excited for our university. It's an incredible opportunity.
Brad Underwood, he is the head coach for the Fighting Illini as they get set to take on UConn in one national semifinal. Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. It is our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. Who will play in the NCAA title game? Will it be Michigan and Illinois, Michigan and UConn, Arizona and Illinois, or Arizona and UConn? You can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. I've retweeted it out, and we will give you the results on Monday. Just so you know, I mean, we just gave you a certain statistic of anybody who has beaten Duke since 2018. They have lost their very next game in the NCAA tournament. UConn just beat Duke. Okay, Braylon Mullins with that logo shot for his team to win it with 0.4 seconds left. So we gave you that trend, and some people wonder, is that something you pay attention to? Fair question. Let me give you another quote or another statistic that might help you a little bit. Do we think these games are going to be close? I mean, Illinois and UConn played November 28th, and it really wasn't close. These are two totally different teams. Both coaches will tell you that. UConn is 10-1 in games decided by 5 points or less. 10-1. That's the second best record in the nation. In games decided by 5 points or less, UConn wins 10 out of 11 times. Illinois, 1-6. 0-4 in overtime games. In other words, they've got the worst record among major conference teams. 353rd in the country in games decided by 5 points or less. I'm trying to give you a little balance here. If you're going to say, wow, those numbers for me against Duke convince me that I'm taking Illinois. If you think it's going to be a close game, and most people do, most people think both games are going to be close, then you should keep that one in mind as well. All right. Now, speaking of UConn, Dan Hurley is a confident dude. All right. The head, would you call it a headbutt at the end of the game against Duke?
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't call it a headbutt, but
I wouldn't
it was
either.
A head touch.
It's contact with a referee.
It's enough to be called for sure.
It's forehead to forehead, right?
I'm glad they didn't call it for the record. But
I was just going to ask you. I mean, did you think that deserved it?
No.
Okay.
No, not in that moment.
I that's not a moment where you do that. What about his team leaving the bench?
I kind of get it because they thought there was no time left on the clock. So I put it this way. I'm glad the referees kind of huddled up and got it right. And they just said, look, get everything under control. Get those guys back on the bench.
Well, wait
get
a
the
minute.
coach back over there.
They got it right according to you and I.
Yes.
But they didn't get it right according to the rules. And they didn't get it right according to Duke fans.
But to me, that's a perfect example of breaking the rules for the right reason, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, those kids are going to run out onto the court after that shot happens. And there's 0.3. It's not like there's 2 seconds left. It's 0.3. Like, they thought there was no time left when they ran out there.
You and I are both on the same page, but you have to look at it from both sides. Do you think you can get a shot off in 0.3?
No.
No, you can.
Well, legally you can, yes.
Legally you can.
That's the lowest you can go, though, right? If it's 0.2, you can't.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think. And was it 0.3 or 0.4? But either way.
It was 0.3.
Okay, 0.3. You can get a shot off. That does disrupt Duke's quick, what they hope would be a response.
The Christian Laettner stuff. Yeah, so we've seen it before, so I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad that they didn't insert themselves.
I'm glad they didn't either. I'm glad they didn't either. That's a horrible way to finish a game. I'm just saying, if that happens at the end of the half, or Hurley does that to a referee in the middle of a game.
Oh, they're calling it.
So if you think they're calling it, and they should call it, if you think they should call it, that's where I have the problem. I have a problem. If that's a foul, or I'm foul. If that's an infraction,
yeah,
during a game, it should be infraction no matter what part of the game.
That Shep is a totally fair philosophy. Can I ask you this? We have the star treatment in all sports, right?
For sure.
Dan Hurley has earned the right to maybe get some leeway there. And I'm not condoning those actions. I don't think you should ever make contact with a referee whatsoever. But I think he's in the handful of coaches. I mean, it's at this point, it's Dusty May, it's Tom Izzo, it's
that's
Kelvin Sampson.
That's very subjective.
I think it is too, and then maybe it depends on what ref crew you have. But
okay, can I ask you this question?
Yes.
Is John Shire in that?
Yeah.
He's won 83% of his games. Trent.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
He's a very good coach. Yep.
Yeah. So he's won 2 ACC championships in 4 years. He's won 2 ACC tournament championships in 4 years. He's made the NCAA tournament he's won 3 conference championships in 4 years, and he's made the NCAA tournament all 4 years.
So what you're saying is
24 and 25 in his coaching career. Now, you may think there's pressure on him. You may think, and I just got a text from somebody, one of our listeners, who says, did UConn win it or Duke lose it? It's a good question.
Duke lost
It's a fair question. If
Duke
it's our
lost
team,
it to me for sure, because if they just hold the ball, they win.
If our team does that, our team shows fight and character and grit. But well, it's true. You know what?
You're right. Yeah,
we always come back. I mean, they're no hill is too high to climb. It shows character, Shep. But somebody else does, like, oh man, they can't even hold a lead. I mean, those guys are chokers. All I'm asking, because I don't want to take away from teams that won it. Duke's made some bad mistakes. Okay, I'm not going to paint an entire team and a entire coaching staff with a broad brush. John Shire literally showed his team what you do in that situation. Throw the ball up in the air. Throw it up in the air.
Yeah,
clock will run down. He showed that to his team, and yet his team still didn't do it. You're going to blame the coach for that?
Oh, I'm not blaming
wow.
him. I'm just
when
we're talking about Dan Hurley, John Shire.
No. Well, we were talking about coaching, and
yeah.
I'm just saying people are looking at him right now and saying, you know what? You can't get your team to where you need to. Next year he's going to be under a lot of fire. It's going to be hard for him to shed that label. When he literally took the steps every coach would like to take the steps of showing his team what to do. Does he deserve, you said Dan Hurley, and you're right, has earned this. Has John Shire earned it enough where it should be called?
I think he has, and he was my heel in Heroes and Heels on Monday. So I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm giving him some crap, but I'm also like, he is a good coach. The guy can coach basketball. It's more now, like you said, Shep, it's very subjective with who we give this leash to, who we don't. Hubert Davis just got fired after 5 years at North Carolina for lack of production. He went to a championship game. Shire hasn't been there. Is that on
Correct.
Shire? Probably not, but
it's a good question.
It's part of the
good question.
It's part of the story.
I mean, you think about this. His team lost 3 games this year.
Yeah, right. Say it out loud.
All in the final shot. North Carolina was a final shot, corner 3. Texas Tech was free throws. And UConn was that unreal shot.
Wow.
For one shiny moment. They won 35 games this year, 35 games the year before, 27 in each of the previous 2 years.
So how can you blame the coach? It's a fair argument. It is.
You can. I'm not saying you can't. All I'm asking you to do is be objective when it comes to this stuff. Okay. When people say this is who lost it and all this other stuff. Do you think MSU had a good year?
Yeah.
Okay. They won 27 games. I think that's a damn good year.
Yep.
John Shire won 27 games in each of his first 2 seasons, then 35 and 35. As good as Michigan was this year. It's the best record they've ever had. 35 wins.
Yeah.
Shire's done it back-to-back years.
John Shire can coach. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, stay with us. On the other side, we do want to get to the Dan Hurley stuff, that and the answering of the poll question and a whole lot more. Stay with us. This is X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Avello Airlines and AvelloAir.com.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The huge show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Well, we feel like we're built in a similar fashion as Arizona, and I'll begin with the veterans on both teams and how they've taken this off the bench role, and they've impacted winning almost every game. I just see so many similarities with the intangibles and the team character of both of us. And then obviously when you factor in the size, and both teams get a lot of credit for how good our front lines are, but there's some great guards and very intelligent basketball being played by both teams. And so when we watch them, we see ourselves, other than a few stylistic differences, we see a lot of ourselves in them. And it's going to be a battle.
Dusty May with his team battling Arizona tomorrow night. I think the most important player tomorrow for Michigan is Elliot Kedju. I've seen people say it's Morris Johnson, who's had a really nice tournament. I think it's the point guard. I think both these front lines are big and strong, and they are beast mode, Marshawn Lynch type players.
You think it's Cadeau. So do you think that's more in a passing role or hitting his 3-point shots?
No, I think it's just playing well overall. It's
Gotcha.
a little bit of both. I think he's got to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
Braden Burrs is the guy for Arizona. All right. At the guard spot. He's not the distributor. Jaden Bradley is, but he's a guy who can shoot and distribute. Elliot Kedju's got to do the exact same thing for Michigan. I think the bigs it's gonna happen for all those guys. The bigs are going to do what they usually do. Arizona's, I think, one of the few teams. Look, Illinois was big and Michigan handled it, but the guard play there was heavily slanted toward U of M. I think that's why you look at Arizona. They've got some big dudes, man.
Yep.
They've got some really big guys.
They've got size. They've got
7'2",
strength.
6'11", 6'11", 6'9", 6'8". They've got some big dudes, just like Michigan does. So I think that's where they're going.
What would be the roadmap, Shep, if I can ask you this? What would be the roadmap for Michigan to beat them?
Yeah, I think if Michigan doesn't hit threes, I think they're in deep trouble.
Because we know Michigan can beat them. So how what do you think that looks like?
I don't know that. They haven't played. I don't know that, but I believe that. But I believe Arizona can beat Michigan too.
Yeah. Well, Arizona's favored for a reason. But
and it's a slight favorite, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Right.
Very close.
You know who the losses are by Arizona, right? They lost to Kansas by 4. So we've just got done talking about, the losses for Duke, the 3 losses for Duke. Arizona lost to Kansas by 4. They lost in overtime to Texas Tech. They lost back-to-back games. That's it. Earlier this year, they lost 2 games to 2 top 15 teams, 1 by 4 and 1 in overtime. And it's not like they played a weak schedule either.
Yeah, I'm glad that the committee didn't penalize Duke for having some players out, but you could,
Same here.
With everything taken into context, you could easily argue that Arizona should have been the number 1 overall seed coming into this thing to begin with.
Yep. I think I've said this, I've been consistent with this all year. I think they're the best team in the country.
You have been consistent, and you did pick them to win it all. So
I picked them over UConn. I picked Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Houston. So wrong with Houston. But speaking of UConn, Dan Hurley he can rub a lot of people the wrong way. If he's your guy, fist pump, Bill Murray-esque. Woohoo! Oh, let's see another shot of Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
If you're tired of that, aren't you? Yeah. If he's not your guy, if you're not a UConn fan, then it gets old, doesn't it? All right. A lot of coaches are like that. He's not alone in that regard. I think a lot of people felt that way about, John Calipari.
I think Tom Izzo's that way, honestly. I think a lot of Michigan State fans love him because he's their own. I think a lot of people from the outside looking in don't even like Tom Izzo. They don't like how fired up he gets. They don't like how grumpy he is at the podium. I see a lot of that.
Yeah, I think the respect factor outweighs everything. when it comes to Tom Izzo. Like you may not like that he's never satisfied. I don't think he's grumpy at the press conferences, but I think he's rarely satisfied.
Yeah, and
Until
I
you
don't
say
even think he's
something-
grumpy
Hey,
either.
Tom-
I just
here's what Tom Izzo is. Tom Izzo is music, religion, and politics. You're not supposed to talk about any of them. You can talk about them as long and defend them. So your family.
Yep.
You can complain about your family. Somebody else complains about your family. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I can say that. You can't. That's my brother,
on.
not yours.
That's exactly right. And that's what it is with Tom Izzo. He can talk badly about his team because it comes from a place of love and devotion. You talk bad, he's going to, you could take his quote from a month before and say the exact same words to him about a certain player, and he'll defend the player.
Yep.
That's who he is.
And I didn't mean to derail this. I was just saying,
No,
you're
fine.
As far as Dan Hurley goes.
Yeah, that's not derailing anything, because I think you're right. I think Tom Izzo, it might for some be an acquired taste, but I think everybody respects him and says, you know what? He's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yep.
Somebody might say, I don't know why, but they would say, I wouldn't want my kid playing for him because, he yells at his players. Well, that you're a wuss. Okay.
Yeah.
Allow your kid can handle it.
He says he recruits the parents as much as he recruits the player.
Absolutely right. And you should. Every coach should. That's really important. Anyway, Dan Hurley is an acquired taste. All right. Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said about his team in this moment that makes a lot of people kind of roll their eyes and say, slow your roll a little bit. Go ahead.
We got a shock. I mean, listen, I've been shock coaching since really Tuesday. I had to let everyone enjoy it. I couldn't come in on Monday like a cold blanket and just start destroying people on Monday. I mean, that just would have been just a cruel thing to do to people's spirit after such an incredible victory. But Tuesday, you just got to bring everybody back to reality. Like the reality is that moment's over. It's an incredible moment. You'll have that the rest of your life. Get off social media, stop injecting the dopamine into your arm, and get serious about the preparation and the practice, because we don't hang banners for Final Fours at UConn. We hang national championship banners.
Yeah. And he also used the phrase,
here we go.
We don't want watches, we want rings. Now, watches, you get that as a runner-up. All right. Rings you get as a champion, obviously. Which made me, when he first said that, I'm like, oh, give me a break, dude. But then you got to realize they're 5-0 in national championship games all time. So if I want to say they're a blue blood, and I think you believe they're a blue.
There's no doubt they are.
Okay.
If they get there, they win. Period.
Then what's wrong with what he said?
Nothing.
There really isn't anything wrong with what he said. And I'm blaming myself here. Okay. I'm the one that sent that to Trent and said, oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk about this. You know what? He's right. I'm wrong. If I'm going to complain about certain franchises hanging banners of guys who were just good.
Can you give an example? Just curious.
Yeah, I think Illinois has way too many banners of players up there.
I'm so glad you said that, because the fact they have Ayo Dosunmu, they have his number up there. Are you kidding me? He was there for 2 years.
Yeah, they've lowered the bar quite a bit.
Unfortunately.
It's something I've always respected about the Wings until they took too long to take Sergei Fedorov's number up there, but at least they did it. You've got to reach a certain crescendo. There's got to be a certain thing you must accomplish in order for you to get hanging from those banners or those rafters. Dan Hurley's not one of those guys who says, you know what, we're going to put up a Big East championship banner. It doesn't matter to them. Other schools, it does. We have a different standard. What is wrong with that? Right. By the way, when the Lions put a banner up there for division championship, people mocked them.
Mm-hmm.
People in Detroit mocked what they did. Give me a break. Other teams do it, but if they have Super Bowls, Lions do it, and it's kind of a laugh. Yuck, yuck. Give me a break. Get out of here. Just wanted to bring that up. There's one more thing I wanted to get to before we're out of here. I had just come up with something. We're going to do the final results of the poll question. Oh, yeah, this was it. So Connor Griffin is going to make his major league debut today. The Pirates called him up. He's 19 years old. He's the number one prospect in all of baseball. They call him up. He's going to play today. They're going to extend him on a contract, 9 years, $140 million. Has not seen one Major League Baseball pitch. Hasn't taken that bat. Hasn't taken a grounder. He's done it in spring training. That does not count. 19-year-old is going to make $140 million. Sidney Crosby's made $170 million in his career. Same town. One of the greatest players of all time. Connor Griffin will not be the equivalent to Sidney Crosby in his sport. Would you sign and extend Kevin McGonigal? Would you do something like that?
I would, but yeah, I get the question.
At what? So it's easy to say yes or no.
Yeah.
What you have to be prepared to do in case you say yes,
give the terms.
Is give the terms. The reason I say that to you is because I just gave you the terms that they're talking about. This is the allegations, the rumors that what Griffin's going to get. Because that's the standard. I mean, if you're McGonigal, I mean, you're his agent. That's what they're going to look at, right? McGonigal's the second best prospect in all of baseball. Griffin's number one. Pittsburgh's seen as a very cheap organization. Detroit, especially after what they did this past season, not necessarily so.
Right.
McGonigal's seen as the best hitting prospect in baseball. That's a standard.
Well, and he has been for a while, too. So you would like to think that there's some sort of plan or some sort of conversation that's already happening.
Here's the impact. When Paul Skeens made his debut, somebody had tweeted out, I attended that game for $30. With Connor Griffin, him making his debut, the ticket price is $200. That tells you something.
Wow.
Let's see. Michigan Man, via the chat. I'm a little worried about the weather. I'm coming in to watch JV Sunday. It looks like it's going to be freezing. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's supposed to be cold and ugly all weekend.
Will you be there, Shep?
I will not. No, I will not be there. But today it's supposed to be really nice. So I'm sorry, Michigan Man. I think you're going to be
bad luck.
Dress warm. How's that? Bring a blanket and dress warm. Which nothing's worse. It's another reason why you really feel like every team should have a retractable roof. It's for people like Michigan Man. For God's sakes, man. I mean, you want to know that you're going to be able to go to a game. It's the only sport where you're not sure that you're going to the game. You can always close the roof, man. They do it in Seattle.
That's
they do
such
it
a good
in Arizona.
point, Shep.
They do it in Milwaukee. Everybody should have a retractable roof.
The only sport with
fan-friendly.
rainouts is baseball.
Yeah, it's fan friendly. Final results of the poll question from yesterday. This is what we asked you on the Mitch Lionswell poll question of the day. Do you agree with the Lions withholding Frank Ragnow's signing bonus? How did people vote?
Pretty close here. 56% agree with it, but 44% disagree.
Oh, so more agreed with the franchise than the player. That's interesting.
Wow.
Even though the player didn't make it the headlines. The poll question today, the Mitch Lionswell poll question, we want you to vote on it at XB Mornings or at ShepMatt. Who will play for the NCAA title? Michigan and Illinois, Michigan and UConn, Arizona and Illinois, or Arizona and UConn. This is the last show that we will do with our producer and our friend Trent Bally. He is moving on to bigger things in his career, and we wish him all the best. We thank him for the 2 years he's been part of it. Trent, I know you'll do well, and we're really happy for you, my friend.
Well, I definitely want to thank a couple people just quickly. Marty Boer, Bill Simonson, Brett Hayes, who I think is the ace of this network.
Okay, that's more than a couple.
You're right. It's a few. Andy McDonald's going to do a fantastic job for you in this show, Shep. But most of all, obviously, Shep, I want to thank you. I told you during our first phone call together that you've been a fixture of my sports fandom as long as I can remember when I was a little kid. That's not me calling you old, but I'm just saying I respect the hell out of you, and it truly has been an honor to push the buttons for you, talk to you every morning, go back and forth. I have learned more from you than any professor at Michigan State taught me, any colleague on the way has taught me to this point. So I just want to thank you, Shep. That's the most important thing that I want to get out here.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. I want to thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your passion, and thank you for being part of the show. You've been an important part of the show, and you're right. Andy McDonald's going to do a hell of a job. I'm really looking forward to working with Andy. He's sports knowledgeable without question. You're going to use your sports knowledge at another level. And we want you to remember a lot of the things that hopefully you learned here. We'll remember the things we learned from you. You can never not learn from people. I don't care how old you are. Just because I've been doing it longer doesn't mean I can't learn from people who haven't done it as long. Anybody who doesn't believe that is closed-minded. I learned from my daughter and my sons who are all younger than I am. So just keep that in mind. Stay true to who you are, please. Keep an open mind. Don't be too negative, be honest, and be happy. It's going to be a good time and a good career. You're off to a really good start.
All great advice, Shep. And everyone listening out there.
We will miss your father, though.
Matt
we'll miss your grandfather.
Matt
So
Shepard
those guys
is
will no
a
longer be listening.
treasure. Listen to Matt Shepard, everybody.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. We want everyone to enjoy opening day today. If you're going to watch, you're going to listen, you're going to go down there. It should be a really good day. All right. And it's kind of cool that it's the Tigers and the Cardinals. You know, I mean, two historic franchises, even though the Cardinals have 11 championships and Detroit has 4, even though Detroit hasn't won one since 1984. But it's still, there's something cool about watching these two teams play against one another, and very appropriate in Detroit's home opener. Our thanks to all of you for giving us an opportunity, as you oftentimes do, on a platform that we embrace, whether it be through streaming or radio. And we hope you give us another chance on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll